Hello again and welcome to a miscellaneous part of this build, where more assembling will be done and there's some painting involved. However, the focus is mainly targeted at completing the engine build. To start off, the wheels have been soda blasted and given a slightly darker shade to offset the car's dark color. The wheels had to be painted by the time the engine was ready, because once the car is lowered on its wheels, it will be sent for spraying. Oh, and you might notice there are more wheels than usual. That is because I am replacing the spare wheel to have a matching set. Now I wanted to make the wheel stand out rather than blending in. This was a delicate process because the wheel caps only had the water-based base coat, so it had to be done right the first time in order to spray the lacquer on top of the center caps. The standard engine bay layout was a bit too dull for my taste, so I wanted to brighten it up by using some eye-catching colors. Now I don't like exaggerating in colors, but certain touches should suit the car nicely. This type of throttle body suffers from a particular problem. That is, when the bolts get tightened to the very thin wall of the housing, sooner or later it will crack the aluminium. However, nothing usually happens to the thicker section. Since I'm not that experienced with welding aluminium, I did not want to take risks, so I had given it to a professional welder. And yet again, the results were not too impressive, because once I grinded the welds to reshape the housing, the welding was full of inclusions. As you can see here, it is full of pinholes. As irritating as it may be, I cannot re-weld it because re-welding can easily distort the throttle body out of shape. So coming close to 90% as good, still better than being 100% rubbish. This is the original fuel pressure regulator, which apparently has been tinkered with by some mechanic, because the top seal has been broken some time ago, so no wonder this car was a guzzler. Now keep in mind you can boost the car slightly by increasing the fuel pressure. However, you will eventually suffer from excessive fuel consumption and high emissions. But my aim is to keep the car as close to the standard setup as possible for longevity. The fuel pressure gauge was relocated so that I can easily take note of the fuel pressure at a comfortable position. Now I wanted to have some cosmetics added to this car and went against my usual judgment, so I opted for the expensive braided setup. The problem with braided fuel lines is that the inside rubber cannot be inspected, so if it gets damaged, the stainless steel mesh will cover the rubber since it's very durable. However, the rubber hoses with the reinforcing mesh in between the layers will also fail in time, but if it cracks it can be visually identified or else the rubber becomes very hard. Also, these new fittings look plain, but are rigid and have no reason for them to leak. So this is how the fuel pressure regulator functions. The two fittings at each side receive fuel, the lower fitting returns fuel back to the tank, the one at the front is for the fuel gauge, the top fitting is the vacuum connection to the intake manifold, and at the very top, the bolt can be screwed in or out to set the desired fuel pressure.